What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Saints Insider video. So today we're going to be recapping the Saints' first week of training camp, which was last week, and then today, which is day 5, the first day of padded practice. So some big notes from last week to recap was on day 1, Kendre Miller, the Saints' rookie running back from last year, was injured again. So as we know, he was injured last year with a hamstring injury. He missed a big portion of the season, but when he did come back, he was a really good running back. He was able to give a lot of bursts to the New Orleans Saints when their offense wasn't able to generate those big plays. It seemed like Kendre Miller was a good change of pace back and kind of gave flashes of Alvin Kamara. Is able to break tackles and his speed inside the holes. But on Monday he was injured. And Dennis Allen did not mince words for Kendre Miller. He was very blunt. He said that Kendre Miller, if he wants to make this team, he's going to have to stay healthy and stay out of the training room. Some people had mixed emotions about this, but I'm a big fan of Dennis Allen saying this, but on one condition, and that's if he holds everyone to the same standard. This includes Derek Carr, Juwan Johnson, and plenty of other New Orleans Saints players who haven't been able to stay healthy this last couple of seasons. If he's going to hold them to the same standard, I have nothing wrong to say about this. The Saints need to stay healthy. This is a big year for them. They refused to rebuild these last couple of years without Drew Brees, and then they've been pretty average. So this is a time when they have a couple of young pieces starting to develop. We have Chris Olave, we had Shaheed, we have a good secondary with Kool-Aid, Alante, Adebo. This is a good time in a pretty bad division to make a playoff run and kind of see what this team is made of and see where they really need to upgrade going forward. They try to address the offensive line this offseason, and then if NFL drafting the offensive tackle Taliase Fuaga. We have Trevor Penning coming back. Hopefully, he can look better without the toe injury this season. Getting a full training camp and able to just hit the ground running and have a good cornerstone offensive tackles on the offensive line. We know we have Eric McCoy holding down the center position. We can develop some guards to just hold it down. This could be really big for Derek Carr when he's given plenty of time to throw the football. He's a above average NFL quarterback, and we have good playmakers if they can stay healthy, including our tight end room of Juwan Johnson. Again, like Dennis Allen was saying, stay healthy and able to contribute to this team. The Saints' offense could be a lot better than it was last year. We know the defense brings to the table. That's why I think this training camp is really big for them. See what players standing out. We do have an undrafted rookie receiver standing out, which I'll get into in a couple of minutes. But that's big for the New Orleans Saints. If they can hit on some draft gems like they did when it was the Andrus Peat draft, the Kamara, the Lattimore draft, that was huge for the New Orleans Saints. And if they can go into the season with a good momentum, we have the Carolina Panthers coming up in week 1. Definitely a winnable game. The Saints can get off on the right foot. But again, they did the same thing last year, so it's about building all this momentum and establishing some good habits during the offseason. So next, some more big news that happened on Friday was Marshall Lattimore was injured. So we know he dealt with a lot of injuries last year with the kidney injury, or maybe it was a liver injury. My mistake. But he hurt his hip on Friday. But Dennis Allen reported on it today that he's not losing sleep over it. He doesn't think it's a very big injury that Lattimore is facing. But he does want to see him get some reps with the defensive backs to get that chemistry going. We do have a lot of defensive backs going into this season, like I mentioned earlier. So if Lattimore needs to get those reps in, just kind of see where these people are going to fit, what packages Dennis Allen's going to run. Because we know Dennis Allen, he is one heck of a defensive coach. He gets a lot of criticism for how he is as a head coach. But on the defensive side of the ball, he knows how to get his team ready and knows how to step up the defense when they need to the most. So some more notes from today. So Juwan Johnson, who hasn't been at training camp participating, he was seen jogging today, which is a positive sign. Hopefully he can recover from his injury and just get back on the field. He's a great playmaker. We saw him make a lot of fantastic catches last year, but he was just so hit or miss of when he was able to really be healthy and when he was at his full capability. Also, we do know that Alvin Kamara has been missing the entire training camp so far, looking for a contract extension. He already said he wants to be in New Orleans for the rest of his life. He wants to retire as a Saint, but it's about meeting in the middle with Gayle Benson and the ownership on trying to find the right contract price for him. Some more positive news with that. Alvin Kamara was seen with Gayle Benson today. They were seen walking and discussing hopefully contract extension, and we just found out a couple minutes ago that Alvin Kamara was offered a contract extension by the New Orleans Saints. It hasn't been released what the offer was, so in general, it's just a good positive sign the Saints are actively engaging and trying to make progress, it looks like, on trying to keep Alvin Kamara here long term. So some more notes from last week. Derek Carr looked pretty good last week. He had some good connections with Chris Olave. And then we do know there is a battle for the QB2 position between Jake Heiner out of Fresno State, and Spencer Rattler, the rookie out of South Carolina. So we know Heiner had a suspension already from last year with some PED use, and we didn't really see him in much action besides the preseason. And then Spencer Rattler was phenomenal in college. I would say phenomenal. I would say he was very flashy in college. He knew how to make the big plays, but at times he made the small, easy plays look like the hardest plays in the world. So it's really interesting seeing some of the notes that people are saying about training camp. He's had some really good throws, some to some undrafted undrafted receivers. But Heiner, after a rough couple of first days, he seems like he's bouncing back a lot better. So I'm really intrigued to see what Dennis Allen is going to keep noting on how these people are developing, especially as the padded practices continue throughout this week. I believe it said they're taking a break on Thursday, so they have Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they'll be back on Friday for some more padded practice. So we do know Groupie is also in a kicking competition, but Groupie seems like he's been doing a lot better. Eric McCoy also said about Tallahassee Fuaga that he's the best rookie offensive lineman that he's ever seen since his time being as a New Orleans Saint, which is a lot of high praise for him. The Saints really need to hopefully hit on this draft pick. They missed on Trevor Penning after how it looked last year. Doesn't mean that he might not bounce back this year. But again, we want those offensive linemen to come in and make an impact right away, because the effects were a lot for the New Orleans Saints. They were hurt by his lack of contribution last year, and then Derek Carr ultimately suffered the consequences of it. Some more notes from today. Chase Young returned today, which was big for the New Orleans Saints. He was cleared last week to return, and he was able to make a couple plays in team. Dennis Allen said he got too close to Jake Heiner on one play, and he had to tell him not to get that close to the quarterback, which is good to see from Chase Young. He is someone the Saints are really going to rely on this year, looking to hopefully reach the 10-sack threshold and just give someone else besides Carl Granderson, and hopefully Cam Jordan can bounce back again this year. Because the Saints have a really good secondary, but when they're asked to cover for 5 to 6 seconds at a time, it's just unrealistic for them to not get calls for penalties and let big plays happen. If the pass rush could be there this year, the Saints defense would be very, very dangerous. Some more news is the undrafted receiver Mason Tipton. I'll put some clips in this video right here. I might be talking over him, but you can kind of see Mason Tipton's been really good so far for the Saints training camp. He's made some plays on some good cornerbacks, including Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alontae Taylor. He had a nice deep ball pass for Spencer Rattler, perfect ball placement, a perfect route overall in the team practice last week. So he's someone that the Saints reporters have been talking about, and even Dennis Allen himself said he reminds him of Chris Harris Jr., the old Broncos cornerback in the Peyton Manning era, who was really good. He came to the Saints for, I believe, 2 years ago and made a decent contribution to them. But he says someone who just constantly is working out there, trying to get every rep he can to just impress the team, and he's been doing that. He's just hasn't been going against undrafted corners. He's been going against starting level quarterbacks in the NFL and making his name known, which is very positive for the New Orleans Saints. Every year, if you can just try to hit on one of those undrafted guys to make the roster and just be an overall contributor for the upcoming year, is just amazing. So look out for more videos this next week. Maybe even some clips of some of the plays that are being posted. Again, no fans are allowed at training camp, which kind of sucks. It kind of limits the videos that are online and what's being shown to the public. But if the Saints are looking to really push forward this year, I could take not being able to visit the training camp if they're going to put their best foot forward and hopefully be a really good, dangerous team this year. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Who do you guys looking for to step up in training camp? Are there any of the injuries worrying you? The Lattimore injury, the Kendrick Miller injury, and what's your guys' breakout player for this year for the Saints training camp? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Peace.